Jamaica have no justice system to correct these problems.
Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Before we start talking about how this is an everyday occurrence and what occurred in this particular case, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Man, oh man. Look, so there's an update to this story before I even start, because her murder was just announced and now they have someone, a person of interest, in custody. And by way of Jamaica Observer, who updated the story, it says that Jamaica, St. Elizabeth, the person's name is Domain Robinson. Domain Robinson is otherwise called Domain Mile or Starboy Miles. Starboy Miles. Remember I told y'all that in Jamaica when you get a nickname, the nickname usually fits who you are. You know what I say? You have a friend that's really dark skin, you call him Blacker. You have a next friend who have chinky eyes or look like Chinese, you call him Chinaman. You have a next friend who a really Chinese man now, you call him Chinaman or something like that. You have a girl who fat now and is your friend, you call her something like Tickers or something like that. Everybody name, you have a bad man friend and him carry 2 guns, them call him 2-piece. You understand? Those kind of things. So Starboy Miles. Starboy Miles was earlier named as a person of interest in the murder of the teacher in St. Elizabeth, and he is now in police custody. 28-year-old Chanel Smith was shot on Tuesday, December 7th, allegedly by 2 men that were traveling on a motorcycle near the entrance of the Sandybank Basic School. She was rushed to the hospital where she succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced dead. Robinson, or Starboy Miles, was named as a person of interest shortly after the incident took place, which has since been condemned by the Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Fayval Williams. Alright. Of course, there are people out there with their little comments and stories, and everybody is going to say the same thing as usual. You know, oh my God, Jesus, please fix this. Lord, we need you. We need an intervention. But I want y'all to realize that all the praying and fasting and oh my God, Jesus, this and that on social media, it's not quelling what's going on in Jamaica, not one bit. As a matter of fact, I'll be the one to stick my foot out and say this. The more praying I see and all that is the more killings I see. It's like the harder them pray is the more killers kill. And this wasn't no random act of violence, because when it first was reported on the news, it didn't look good. And it had everybody saying, oh my God, a random killing of someone who seems to be not involved in anything. Of course, everybody run them separate ways and started making up stories or just forming their own opinions of what they thought might have happened. Maybe she mix up in a something. Maybe she there with gunman. Maybe she this or she that. Well, news headline drops further. Murdered teacher was in an abusive relationship. I'm going to give you all the details of this. But I watched her father's complete interview, which was pretty long, with the Gleaner. And that is a clip of it that I posted at the beginning of this video. That's her dad speaking. He said some things that were factual, but even watching him, he was like one of those people that were in denial and are now reactive instead of proactive. Not meaning to throw any salt in the wound, but I'm going to speak on that more in a minute. So again, shout out to the Jamaica Star this time, and it says that Chanel Smith, the St. Elizabeth teacher who was murdered at her school gate yesterday, was a victim of domestic violence, her father said. She was murdered at the school gate, you know, people. Why are we surprised? They've even killed people in church before now. And I remember a time gone by when we were doing SouFLoTV and we said, man, them a kill people everywhere. I guess they're going to go in the church next. And guess what? They did on more than one occasion now since we said that. So where else is there to go? Nowhere is sacred anymore. People get gunned down at funeral or attending funeral. People get gunned down at birthday party and celebration and christening and dropping their children off to school. And now a teacher on her way to the school is gunned down at 7:55 in the morning, when you know the children them looking out to see their teacher come in the class and all these things. And it's a basic school, so these are very small children. I can only imagine that some of these children might have seen what happened actually as it happened, or they might have seen her lifeless body laying out there, a woman who taught them days before. Full of life, young, charismatic, well educated. She is a graduate of the University of the West Indies. I'm guessing that her major was in early childhood education, because it shows her standing in her graduation gown and cap, and the background reads graduating class of, and it says University of the West Indies, Mona campus. So of course she has a lot of alumni out there, and her brothers and sisters are probably in shock that this happened to her. But more will come about. We've also talked about this before on SouFLoTV, where we talk about women who put themselves in these positions because they for some reason are not able to discern, to read ahead. You know, when relationships start, everybody look like they're in love or they're trying to charm you, so everybody put their best foot forward. You know, the man is at his best. He runs around and opens the car door. If he has a car, he'll pick her up over a puddle of water. It's funny, I said that this morning on our live show, which happens every morning on SouFLoTV. And if you set your timer or hit the subscribe button, then the bell next to it, your notification bell, then you would know about the morning show. But we discuss these things as well. That's how everybody is. The crazy girl don't tell you that she's crazy on the first, second, or third date, and the crazy guy, narcissistic guy, mad guy will look like him, probably will hunt you down and kill you if you try to leave him. He doesn't tell you that on the first, second, or third date either. So people put them like a false self forward. They con you into a relationship, and then as time goes by and the relationship unravels, that is when we start to see the true person come out. So a lot of these ladies who put themselves in these positions, I wanted to also say that not even your family can help you, because your family is scared and powerless against these gunmen, unless you have some gunman family members that's willing to stand up for you and dash with somebody for you. You know, remember we recently did the story where I posted the video of the girl being kidnapped, taken away from her home? Okay, her family was under threat and feeling scared as well, and had moved out and ran away from them home and hide in other places and all these things, all because one young lady dated one guy and the guy turned out to be crazy. Alright, Smith, this particular story, 28 years old. She was shot and killed outside the Sandy Bank Infant School in St. Elizabeth by one of two men who opened fire at her as she was about to enter the schoolyard. Work she go? She's going to work. As she was about to enter the schoolyard. Now, there are reports out there that said both gunmen were firing at her. Two men riding on a bike were firing two guns at her. Those reports turned out to be not so. And because of that initial report, it had a lot of people saying, no sir, this is a hit. This is definitely a hit. Because why would two men come firing guns at one woman? But it turns out that two men were on a bike. One of them, the one that was in the back, that they call the pillion, he opened fire on her, and it is suspected now that he is the one who is in custody. Her father, who gave his story and interview to the Gleaner, I didn't see him mention any of that in the interview, but it bust out in a paper this morning. So her father, she's 28 years old and lost her life like this, and her father, Vernon Smith, said that the young woman has been going through hell since 2019. So it's not nothing new. This man have been putting her through hell all this time. He claims, this is what her father says, that she was threatened on several occasions by her ex-boyfriend, who assaulted her on at least one occasion. I remember one night, he said, the family was at home and we hear like rustling coming from upstairs. And when me hear my daughter say, "Lego me throat," the distraught father said, "Yesterday." Alright. This part, people, this part you really get me. Now pay attention to this closely. He said, "When I got up there, I saw the guy. And I said, 'What are you doing here in my house?' And he turned and he asked me, 'Oh, you getting at this?' And I told him to get out of my house or else." Alright. Right, that's all. Before I even go any further with the story, let me just say this. No boy now coming to my house. Inside of my house, you are strangling my daughter. And she is wrestling away from you. And y'all are fighting so hard upstairs that I hear it downstairs. First of all, I didn't even know she have man in my house. And then I come up there to find you in my house. And the thing that you say to me is how me getting at this. No man, that's bright. That sound like I'm in your house. That doesn't sound like you in my house. That sounds like I'm in your house, don't it? About how you getting at this. As if you want to say, take yourself back downstairs like a boy or something and boy me up in my house. What? So I'm supposed to just turn my back while you abuse my daughter then. He said he had choice words with him after that. I am guessing they cuss each other out. And he told him to leave his house or else. Or else what, daddy? Or else what? Because this youth obviously was not afraid of you. Let me take this moment to leave a little message out there and say this. You see, when you go to have relations with people and you decide that this relation is going to be long term for you because your heart and your mind is caught up, please remember one big red flag. If the person has no respect for your parents who you have high respects for, then leave that person alone. If this man brave enough, let me say it again. If the person you intend to be with has no respect for your parents who you have high respect for, then you need to leave that alone. You see where it goes. If he's brave enough to talk to your father like that, then of course you can only imagine what he would do to you, right? I remember one night the family is at home, the man say him here ruffling upstairs, him go up there and this man, him hear him daughter ball out, "Lego me throat." Me say fi Lego me throat. He was up there squeezing her neck. What a piece of something. Listen up, me a kill boy in my house, you know. And I'm not trying to encourage anybody to commit murder or anything like that. But I'm kind of guaranteeing you that he wouldn't be walking out my house like that. Now this story gets even worse and more twisted because she was failed in so many ways. To include, let's not try to get her away from this. And again, not to add insult to injury, even she failed herself. Yes, highly educated women also go through abuse and men as well. And you would think, oh, them go university and graduate with them degree. Me sure they know about human behavior and about abuse and all these things. And I'm sure they know how to get themselves away from those kinds of relationships or not even get involved in them in the first place. You know, when you see those odd relationships, a progressive, productive woman and she tuck up some little ching bag, jing yang, eat that boy. And you have to wonder to yourself, like, is that she really want? Like, that can't be her man. Really? Star boy, that can't be our man. Outer road boy, that can't be our man. Community dick, that cannot be our man. But is that them choose some of the times, you know? But they choose it not knowing what the full outcome of it could be or is until it ends up like this. She's going through this with him since 2019. He's a ex, and him can't take being a ex. What is it with these men? You can't take being an ex. You didn't have her all your life. You met her one day, and I'm sure you've been in relationships before, had other females before, break up before. So why was this one so different? and you take the girl life because she no longer wants to be with you, and it's not like you are somebody that's progressive and productive and has done so much for her, and you are somebody good for her. You're actually somebody bad for her. You're scourge of the earth, and she found out your true colors because your pretense wore off. Like I said before earlier, how everybody put them good foot forward in a relationship, and then as time go by, the layers peel away and you see the real person. So she saw the real person in him and decided this is not what I want in my life, and try X him, and him couldn't take the X in. Boy, get mad. Now I must wonder also, what kind of friend does he have? Because your friend really ride a bike and let you ride on the back, carry you go kill this girl. Your friend couldn't talk to you and say, yo brother, a whole heap of girl out the road, loud a girl that make she go on about her business. You can get way more girl than that, prettier than that, better than that. Tell him something. Don't get on the bike and ride with him to go kill the damn girl. In that particular case, I would say that you have a murderer and you have an accomplice to murder. So both of them should be facing murder charge right now. He, if he's in custody, would be forced under my rules to go find the other one or give up his location and his identity, and we would go pick him up and we would charge both of them. Let's see though if this is how the Jamaican law works out. Now, he says when him go up there and him see the guy and said to him, say, what you doing in my house? That means daddy did not know that him daughter have man inside him house. Now some people might be saying, but she's 28 years old. Come on now. Some of we grow old school, like myself here. Me can't carry nobody going to my people them house unless we're married. We can go to visit, but we can't be in there locked up in a room and spending night and all that. I'm not from that kind of a family, so I can actually really relate. The man didn't know that he was in the house, and also because he was able to say she been going through this since 2019, it also tells me that he knows this guy and he's probably been telling his daughter to stay away from this guy. So how the guy end up in him house? Did he break in the house or did she let him in the house? Interesting, and I would like to know the real answer to that. Smith said that after the heated exchange between him and the boy, because I not call him man no more. After the heated exchange between the father and the boy that was in the room strangling his daughter, the abusive partner left. The father said that he and his daughter, listen to this, he and his daughter reported the matter to the Treasure Beach Police Station. I would like to see a copy of that report. He told the Star that his daughter, a past student of Bethlehem Moravian College, suffered in silence for a while before opening up to him about what she was facing. She was probably afraid to tell her dad. She probably couldn't even believe she herself ended up in a relationship like that. He said that on one occasion, the same ex-boyfriend went on to the school compound where his daughter worked, grabbed her by her throat again, and attempted to choke her right there where she worked at the school. So you see that? He went on the school compound before, grab her, choke her in front of everybody. Now, this rings loud. When me tell the woman them, say listen, if him raise him hand to lick you, take care yourself. If him swing after you, take care yourself. Because it starts out like that and then it gets more. It starts out with a push. And actually it starts out with harsh words. And then harsh words turn to a push. And push turn to slaps. Slap turn to punches. Punches turn to punches and kicks, and then them start use tools. A gradual progression. Nobody just get up and just one day just kill you out of the blue, so. Unless it's something else. But in these domestic violence cases, it's usually clear to see it coming. Only the victim them usually see it when it's too late. Alright? So just the fact say he went on school campus. He probably did a seminar, give off which part you work, girl. Me come up there. Man, a gunman. Nobody can tell me nothing up there. He probably even threatened her parents and said, yo, if you left me kill all your father and my girl. You see him coming there, come go and like say, him have anything to do in my business with you. Tell her daddy if you stay out of this year. And because she know that her daddy is not that rough, tough and tumble type. He is not the gunman type. Him can't defend her. And this youth probably show her a gun already or something. She get afraid. She get afraid. So she hid it for a while before telling her father that daddy, I'm in an abusive relationship. He said that on one occasion the man go up at the school go choke her. Them call me. The school call her, you know. Me want to know if the school did call the police first. The school call him, the father, and say, our man come up here to choke your daughter. The school call me. Them call me and I call the police. So the police went there and the police warned him. Wanna hear this? So yeah, the man said, them call me. That means say, hold on, them call him or them call the police? Them call me and I call the police. So the police went there and warned him. Hello. I know for a fact that in the United States of America, you march your ass onto a school campus and you're dating a teacher and you as a man go in there and strangle her, choke her, put your hand around her throat, anything like that, you're going to prison. Notice I didn't say jail. I said you're going to prison. You're going to prison because they're going to think of the impact of what your violent actions did, and your mind state would tell them that you're a danger to society, you're a danger to the community because you were ready to do that in front of small children in what is supposed to be a safe place for them, a school. And you care so little about laws, rules and regulations that you went on school grounds and collar up the teacher by our neck that they had to call police on you. Big red flag. Now up to press time yesterday, the police had not disclosed the motive for the killing because they don't really know. They don't know why him do it. But now he's in custody. There is no indication that yesterday's deadly attack is linked to the abusive relationship that she endured, is what the rest of the article said. Oh my gosh. Yo, sometimes I read these articles coming out of Jamaica and I'm like, I can't believe it. And this is no disrespect to the Jamaica Star, Observer, Gleaner, any one of them. No disrespect. But I'm talking about like the police and their investigative work. Sometimes they are so lackadaisical and so lax with the way how they transcribe and the way how they interpret things. But anyhow, I leave room for them to do their investigations. Seen? As the investigation continues, the St. Elizabeth police have listed a Manchester man as a person of interest. That was yesterday. And the police said that he frequents Royal Flat and Christiana in Manchester that are around my place. Now, while the police moved to solve the heinous murder, which is the 21st murder in that parish since the start of the year, the grieving father is calling on the government of Jamaica to impose stiffer penalties against criminals. Boy, remember me telling you, I said a lot of people who are not crying out loud now for something to change, they will sooner or later when everybody is overrun with it and it ends up on all of our doorsteps. Some of us aren't waiting. We've been doing this for years now. We've been calling for certain changes for years now. That's a big issue right there. They actually went and made a police report after she was choked by this person on school campus. He is not a member of faculty. He is not a student there. It's a basic school. So what was he doing on campus? Putting his hand on her neck. And police went and warned him. So we've been calling for these laws to be put in place. that would take care of things like this with some mandatory punishments and so on and so forth over time. But for the people who don't want to be a part of that, don't worry. It'll soon visit your doorstep too, and it'll soon be for somebody that's close to you, and y'all go ball out. But when you ball out, I want you to remember when others were balling out and we were asking you to be a part of that movement, and you said, "Sure, the place I run away still, but I'm not really affected because nobody around me no get that yet." And then boom, and now here you are. So while the police moved to solve this heinous murder, this is the 21st one in the parish, It's just weird to me that we even speak of murder in those numbers, like in one parish alone, 21 people murdered already. That's just weird because I came up in a time when that number was like, or maybe I was too young and just didn't know. I can just imagine when she feel the first shot, she must have been saying, "Is this real? Is this real?" He's speaking about his daughter. And then he went on to say that the problem I am having is that Jamaica has no justice system to correct these problems. When you are caught with an illegal firearm, put 50 years upon it. And when you commit murder, put you away forever. No bother with no lawyer, and no this, and no that, and no indicum. Just put them away, the father said. And of course, he's hurting, so he's going to say anything and all that out of emotions. But sadly, but the reality is, by law, everybody presumed innocent until proven guilty. Everybody deserves a trial and deserves to be represented by someone who understands the law, which is a lawyer. That's why when they read you the Miranda rights, they say, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed unto you. So we can sit here and say, no indicum, no lawyer, no court, no nothing, just fling them with a life. But we know said daddy talk like that because he's hurt. And it's his daughter. Could you imagine raising your daughter? His daughter still live at home, And if you watch his interview, he spoke about his children. And him said, them not go nowhere. I just church, school, work. That's it. Church, school, work. Nothing else. Well, apparently she was doing more than church, school, and work, sir. She had a full-blown abusive relationship. That means they were involved for a while. Them do them thing. They didn't want it anymore. She decided to go our separate ways, and it got even more abusive after that till it ended up taking her life. Why did y'all wait so long to do anything? I don't know. And why did the police only warn him and not do anything about it? I don't know. We'll stay tuned to this story to see if he is the ex-boyfriend that is in police custody and how this will unfold. I hope so them even test like him hand for gunpowder residue and all these things. Just make sure so we have the right person, and then after that, on purpose, pop him neck. I'm going to leave this one right here. Leave your comments in the comment section below. If I miss out anything, say that too, or bring your own opinion to the table. I'll catch you tomorrow morning on live at 7 a.m. called Morning Thoughts with SouFLoTV. Big up my Morning Thoughts audience and big up every subscriber on SouFLoTV. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified every time we go live or every time we put up a new video on SouFLoTV. I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Peace.
Alrighty, God, is this real? Is